We got new mic stands.
I think first thing we got to do, like and subscribe.
Please, please, please. I beg of you.
And also, I keep forgetting, we're also on Rumble.
That's right.
YouTube.
That's right.
All the podcast things, including Rumble. Apple Podcasts,
Spotify,
YouTube, Rumble, Amazon, I think even.
I wonder, because that's what's an interesting transition. I used to only listen to podcasts. I think maybe it's more lifestyle. Honestly, it's not that bewildering. I just was in the car so much. I used to be in the car so much. To where now...
I think the video has become more popular too. Because like when we used to be listening to them, like when we lived in Wisconsin, it was we were at the gym or in the car or whatever. So I think lifestyle for sure. But I don't think people put that much attention to the video part of it.
Well, and I really used to listen to Mind Pump. And I don't even think they had video at the beginning. Did they?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Because they just started doing it on YouTube. I don't even know if they did have video. I don't know. But I used to listen to Congratulations, Chris D'Elia's podcast. Can you imagine listening to that? It's like he is so...
Well, the animated, yeah.
Half of his comedy is in his facial expressions and like in his movements. It's like I was missing half of the fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
Do you think of that like with certain podcasts? Because the times that I was driving like a lot in California, I think podcasts I was doing just Mind Pump when we were in Mind Pump and weirdly enough Fighter and the Kid. Those are the ones that those are really the only two that I was listening to in Wisconsin. That California, I started getting into all the other ones that I like specifically think of when I would drive to this job. This is like kind of like my morning fitness classes. Those are the ones that I would listen to Chris D'Elia. And then my afternoon ones driving to dance, I would listen to Mind Pump.
Yeah, I bet people have that or do that.
Like my association with the podcast is California. To where Mind Pump, my association is Wisconsin. Like even when I see them now, I'm like, oh, that's Wisconsin or that's California.
Yeah, I don't have that. Of like the association with it. I think the only thing that I have an association with is the chef show that we watched in Texas.
Yes.
That's the only thing I have that sort of thing with, I think. I wanted to wait to put this in because there's some haters out there that are saying that I'm not doing it. So I wanted to show on camera that I'm putting them in.
Oh, I thought you were saying that there were some haters saying that you wouldn't be able to quit. Because after the last podcast released, Mr. Steven goes, good luck. You think you can quit after the tin is gone? Good luck.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Steven? Screw you. No, I wanted to. I mean, I'll have one of these every day if they want to sponsor. How about that?
How about that?
How about them apples?
I love that the first company that we did anything with was the Mr. Hyde. It's like, yeah, of course it's pre-workout and of course it's my favorite one.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
See you later.
You know what I was reading, actually? I looked up, because you said something about it on the last podcast of you wonder if hot coffee has...
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's more caffeine or more whatever, but the thing that is different, that's what's weird though too, is they were differentiating like hot brewed coffee versus cold brew. So I think it has more to do with the brewing than there's the hiccups.
Here we go.
More than it has to do with that.
Pay attention when he hiccups. See if you start to feel it in your body. It makes me exhausted. And it's not like because I don't like the sound of it. It's like almost like my body is feeling how aggressive the hiccup is and I'm getting tired.
If that's not a sign that your body doesn't want it at all, I don't know what is.
I know.
What we do. Also, with these, Rogue ones are way better.
Wait, did you try them?
Yeah, Casey had Rogue.
And you tried one?
Yes, they're way better. And that was double the nicotine this is, and it was way smoother.
But you didn't get the hiccups?
I did for like 2 seconds. It's weird. The hiccups are like...
That's weird.
it's either like it's not the same every time. I think sometimes it's like aggressive and crazy for like 30 minutes, and then sometimes it's like I'll hiccup twice and then I don't hiccup again. I don't know what the deal is, but
it was smoother.
The Rogues were way better. Like these Zins have like more of a chemically like you kept saying spicy. It has way more of that like harshness than the Rogues. The Rogues were like smoother and just like better, not even better flavor. It's almost like they did these with Cool Mint, or this is the one I got is Cool Mint, and these are like they overdid the mint, so it just like hurts almost and is spicy and weird. The Rogues was like way less and more even, and
was it the same flavor?
it was mint. But,
So yeah,
you know, I don't know what the.
So it wasn't like you got a different flavor and maybe it was just that. Well,
but it didn't have the chemicaliness that this does.
It's weird. That's where, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know a lot of people that do the Zins. It seems like most of the podcasts that we watch or those kind, they do the other ones. But I think more of the hype and the like joke culture around those right now is all about the Zin.
Well, Zin is a perfect name.
Maybe that's why.
It's the name.
Maybe that's why.
Do you want to say Lucy over and over again, or do you want to say Rogue over and over again?
Sure.
Like Zin sounds quick, simple.
Yeah.
That's just good branding. I wonder why it's Zin. It has nothing to do with nicotine or any of that. Neither does Rogue or Lucy, but
if I had to do another career, I think I would have gone into marketing.
You still could.
I like that stuff so much, but I also like it when it's my aesthetic. Like, I like creating those things when it's for my personal things, but like I would never create a tin that looks like that. To me, that looks dumb, but it works probably.
Yeah, yours would be like all black with like thin white lettering.
Or the like blackout words too.
Yeah,
but it's like a different texture, a different color.
Yeah, do like a matte black with a glossy black lettering. Yes. Gotcha. Hey, I know you.
My vibe is
and then you would do an all white one too for like a different flavor. So you do like the 3 milligrams in all black and then the 6 in all white.
Or reverse, because black is like a little more dangerous.
And there she is. You were waiting for her. There she was. That's the person that I'm with.
Danger.
And that's not just on the podcast. That is my life 24 hours a day. Oh, it's awesome. What's so funny, we had the episode with Corey and Carly, and you just like not funny, not wanting to be funny, all that funny stuff. It's like you definitely try to be funny more now since being with me.
I have to be. It's a survival mechanism.
You're welcome.
It was either shape up or ship out. Like either join in on the crew or
if it fits, it chips.
See you later.
Aaron Briggs.
What?
If it fits, it chips. Aaron Briggs.
We say that with so many things that don't make any sense of that, but if it fits, it chips. But I get no more joy. I was just talking about this. Like, making adults laugh, like if my meter of, oh, that felt good, is like, if kids laugh, it's a little bit higher. But I didn't realize how much I liked this. I teach a class of all boys ranging from 5 to 11 or 12. When I can zing them and they think it's funny, I'm like, this is the best.
Yeah.
Because it's also, I think, why I think it's funny is for how, like, their reaction is so surprised that I could make them laugh.
Oh,
like, they're surprised that, like, she said that. Like, if I'm just making fun of someone else in the class, they, like, don't expect a teacher to do that or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think there's also something with, I think just in general, women don't tend to try to be funny.
Sure.
So when they are, I mean, we watch that with Kill Tony. It's like when women go up there, it's always like, oh, here we go. Is this going to be good or bad kind of thing? I mean, we do that with men too, but I think for men, it's just so much more normal to try to be funny. More men are trying to be funny. To where with women, it's like when there's a funny woman on there, it's like everybody's so happy and so excited because it's like
there's more shock value.
There's one.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's the effort. Women just don't tend to try to be funny. So then
we just have more to offer than men do.
Wow. Okay.
No, but like think about it. Like that is one of the characteristic. That is one of the characteristic traits that most women would say. Like, I want my partner to have a good sense of humor, be funny, or it's like.
You know what though? Men want that too. If you don't like. We don't
good
want
sense of humor, but like
yes.
you don't need to be life of the party a hoot. It's like they would most my guess they would probably rather you show signs of being a loyal partner and a good mother, like having motherly traits, than to be the one that everyone's laughing at the gathering.
Yeah. I mean, if you had if you had to rank them, for sure. But sense of humor is for sure one of the ones that's up there.
But you can have a sense of humor without being funny.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you don't have to be saying the jokes or being the funny one, just somebody that thinks a lot of things are funny.
So I think women's like when a guy can be funny, when they can be the one that's making people laugh or make you laugh.
Yeah,
like that's a more baseline.
Do you think that that's changed for you, of like your sense of humor getting
broader? I think it's broader. You've also toughened me up, and that's where I think my sense of humor has gotten better because I'm just less sensitive. I'm not as like,
isn't that great?
Oh, that's not funny because that's mean. I do not find mean things funny or pranks funny, or
I'm not really a prank person anymore.
Like, this is one thing that I don't understand why people do this, but it's so cringy to me when it happens. But if someone said something to you and it was like underlying basically calling you ugly, and then someone else in the room would make a joke about like basically bringing to light that person just called you ugly. It's like we all kind of know what was said, but like don't highlight it more.
Yeah. We've had this conversation too before of just the delicacy that you need to have with humor and jokes with people. You got to know your audience, kind of thing. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't tend to like that kind of humor that much.
Like when people call out the awkwardness when it's too harsh.
Unless you can do it really funny. Which
yeah.
is very hard to do, I think.
I think it's hard to do because it's hard to...
It's like when Chris D'Elia and his wife Kristen do the like...
Right.
Like, that's funny. That's a funny reaction. Yeah. Or people just go like...
Yeah.
You know, that's funny. Basically saying anything about it.
Because you need to make it funny without, like, I think when people do it, they make it funny for the room, but then when you see that person that they're talking shitty about, it's like, it's not funny for them. Like, right. You're just doubling down on the person that got shit on.
Unless that person has a really good sense of humor.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I don't think I get weird about any of that stuff if it's directed towards me. I mean, we were just back home and around my family, which it's like we are just all chirping at each other the whole time. So I think people are generally good in my family about that. But when it's about me, I'm almost like, yes, shit on me so that nobody else is getting shit on. Because I don't know if other people can handle it. So I'm like, just say I'm stupid and dumb and...
I think I do a better job if it's something that is, and this is going to sound so lame, what I'm about to say.
Well, you're a very lame person.
But I think with certain groups of people that I'm with very regularly, it's almost like I have like really pushed the things that I'm like, make fun of me about this, this, and this. And then like drill those.
Sure.
It's like people make the same jokes about me. And it's like, okay, these are topics like I'm fine with. It's like,
yeah. You know what else?
you know what I'm saying? Like it's not off the wall. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah. There might be something too with me being the youngest. Like I was always the one that was smaller, weaker, not as smart because I was younger.
Sure.
So I think you just quickly learn how to be self-deprecating and take that, because it's like, how are you going to survive? If you're going to be sensitive and don't pick on me, it's like...
Yeah, I feel like the things that I got picked on as a kid, whether it was with family or whatever, it was too, like, actually real. So it's like, I don't... Like, for you, it's like, yeah, you are all those things, but it's not weird. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, you're little. It's like, well, yeah, you're the youngest. Who cares? But, like, I was really only made fun of for, like, being stupid or some version of, like, being too mature because I just looked older than what I was. So it's like, I would always get made fun of for, like, having big boobs. It's like, well, that's just the reality. Like, I get that it could be funny, but like, I don't know what to do about that.
That was also in, intermediate school. It's like nobody picks on you about that now.
No.
That was just like an immature child thing to get picked on.
Oh,
about.
yeah. Yeah. That was just like, that was the one thing that they could pull out.
Yeah.
It's like everybody just was like, oh, that's the thing that we're collectively all going to make fun of her about. But it's like, but that's right. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Sure. You know what's interesting about you is like you never compensated for the stupid thing. You weren't like you never like tried to prove
you
that
just like
you
really
weren't.
leaned into it, actually.
No, you never were like, I'm gonna do everything I can to be a doctor now. Like you didn't.
No,
Well,
I just made that my identity.
I don't know if you made that your identity, but I don't know. You just kind of went, okay, and then still did what you were going to do. To where for me, it was like, you're small and skinny, whatever. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to get as strong as I can. Which is probably a male thing, maybe. I don't know. Females do that too, though. Like,
I just doubled down with like my other traits. I wasn't going to be like, well, I'm just going to be really smart. Because again, it was the realness of that. Of like, yeah, I do think I'm actually not as intelligent as most of the people around me. Like, again, it's the boob thing. It's like, you're making fun of me, but it's spot on. Like, I agree with you. Like, I do think those things, whether they're funny or not, who knows? But I think that's more in the who's saying it, what's the delivery. Like, you could say it funny, you could not say it funny. But I was just like, well, I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to be good at that. So I'm not going to have smaller boobs. So I just need to highlight where it's good.
But
so like, I'm just going to work hard. I can't do the intelligence thing. So I'm going to be the hardest working person most people know in that age. Like, that's my thought. Like
a fifth grader.
I'm going to line up to one of the smartest people in our grade and go like, I'm still going to get the same grades as you, or I'm still going to be as successful in this. We're just going to have two very different routes to get there.
Yeah. I can see that. I think I don't know. Still, you took that and went that way. It's like you could, you did kind of change that. You just maybe don't have the opinion or like you're not thinking of it in that way. Towards like, I was skinny and not very strong, so I went, okay, I'm gonna do something about this, and went and like tried to correct that or change that exact thing. To where I don't think you went like, well, I'm gonna get smarter. You just went like, I'm gonna get good grades and work hard, which is that. I think that's what's so stupid about you being called stupid is like, in what thing? Because you get good grades and you've put together a life that's successful in whatever. So I don't understand where the stupid, like, that was one that I just never got on with everybody else in the grade. I just thought that was I didn't think it was very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just weird to me because it's like, well, what do you, I'm the very like, well, what are your grades? Oh, they're good, so you're not stupid. I don't get
Sure.
what's going on here. Why are you being called stupid?
Sure.
It's like because you don't know certain things and other people might know certain things. Like, okay, so now we're just talking about what we think you should know versus what you do.
Well, I think this is very my personality even now. I like have this second nature way about me of just making it a positive, making things a positive. Like that is I don't know. I think sometimes it is a negative that I do that, but I can make anything positive of the situation. That I think I just took what I had and go, okay, well, what's the positive of this? I am not intelligent. That's just something that in my head I just thought, well, that was the hand you were dealt. You're just going to be dumb. Like, this is the brain that you have. Now, knowing, obviously, that's a stupid thought to have. But
yeah,
I was like, but I am naturally really good at working hard. So I'm just going to highlight that and show that even more. And I'm good at having regular world skills. Like, I could hold a conversation with an adult very easily. I could work and I could like maintain jobs and do different things. Like, I could drive to Chicago by myself at 16 and get around and do all that. It's like, well, then I have friends that won't even go into Janesville. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not good in the ways that you're good at, but these have to have a value. So I'm just going to double down. I think that's also where my sliver of confidence, I think that also in a weird way came from the big boob thing. So I was like, well, I'm getting made fun of for this because I'm in third grade and I'm literally the only person that is having that. And for many years after that. So then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to highlight this. I'm going to make this a positive. I am going to be known for my looks. Or I'm going to be one of the people in the grade that's like, I am going to carry myself in a way that it seems like I am celebrating this difference. And then it just turned like, it's like practice confidence of like, yeah, I can dress a certain way or carry myself in a certain way and not feel self-conscious. It's like, I think it's because I had to force myself to just like, people are going to notice this about you. People are going to make comments about you. People are going to make fun of you for this. Girls are going to hate you because of it. Just like double down and make it seem like you don't care about it.
Have you thought about that anymore? Like with all of the data coming out of like girls are going through puberty way earlier now compared to like, I don't remember what they said, like
because of the shit
70s and 80s. Like, you think it was all that?
Yes and no. I think all of my mom and my aunt, they went through that young, very young too, like the same kind of age that I was. And like, they were way more developed very young. Like, they grew to the height that they were going to, and then they stopped. Like, so I think it was kind of in the cards for me a little bit with that. But yeah, I mean, I was eating McDonald's 3 times a week.
Yeah. It's so funny. Every single time I see my Aunt Tammy, she always is like, have you gotten taller?
Says that since you were in third grade?
Yes, every single time. And it was like, for the longest time, it made sense because, yeah, I was, 10 and then 12 and then whatever. It's like, I'm 27. I'm not getting taller. It's so funny. I should just start going like,
she's probably just
you're
shrinking.
Getting shorter.
Yeah,
That's
she's probably shrinking.
But I always think that's funny. She said that the last time we were back too.
That's hilarious.
Like, are you taller than Corey? I think you're getting taller. I'm like, I'm not. Not at all.
One of these times you just have to wear like platform shoes.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, seriously, this time I think you are.
I just walk in with heels.
I love the way that her and Lisa talk to me.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me feel like this, it makes me feel like a girl. Like they treat me like this sweet little girlfriend.
And you're not. You're ruthless. Yeah. Do you think you hold that? I mean, like that same insecurity now?
With what one?
The stupid thing?
Mm, it's not necessary. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's always comes in as an insecurity. I think when it comes in an insecurity is when I'm put in situations where the attention's on me, and then it highlights, because I think like your family, they don't know me from before, obviously, so they only know me as an adult. There's not many adult things that you have on a day-to-day with people to show your intelligence. I mean, you can definitely tell, like you can tell smart people and you can tell not smart people just from how they live their life and how they talk and deliver information. But it's like when we're playing games, and it's like you have to add things up, or like we're playing Yahtzee and you have to like calculate your thing, or if there's a game where you have to come up with, like the game that we were playing at the cabin where you had to say the things. Granted, I think that was just more, it's the time crunch that it throws you out. That's the whole point of the game.
Yeah, you get like 5 seconds to name 3, mountain ranges in the United States or something like that.
Yeah, but
you
it's
have
like
to say 3 of them in 5 seconds.
That would not be a time the time is not the hindrance there. I would maybe not know the information, and that would be embarrassing, because some of that, it could just be very common knowledge to some people. Most people probably. That it comes up in those ways. But the only other thing I can think of is, which I will just maneuver around this. I will find a way to still be able to teach and deliver the information. But say if we have kids, I'm probably not naturally just going to know the things that they're going to be asking about.
Yeah, I think that stuff's so stupid though. Like, I mean, you said like you can just tell who's smart and not. It's all so categorized, because I mean, how many super intelligent people can't even do laundry or can't get to places on time, or like other basic tasks that people do and know and try to do. Like, I don't know. It's all
like street smarts versus book smarts.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think it even goes more categorized than that. It's like, I don't know. It's just the intelligence thing, or being smart or being dumb. It's like, it's so, well, are you smart about that stuff, or are you not? You know, it's like the most intelligent. I mean, you take someone like Elon Musk. It's like, yeah, he's super intelligent, but he can't raise his kids. It's like one of his kids is like has been coming out about how he's not a good dad. It's like, well, that's a form of intelligence.
Sure.
And it looks like he maybe doesn't have that. So it's like, it's all so categorized that I always think that stuff's so stupid when it's like, yeah, I'm not that smart of a person or whatever. It's like, well, you're not smart in what other people are saying you should be smart in or should know.
I think a part of that is also skill. Like skills that you obtain.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Have you taken time to learn that stuff, or know how to do that stuff, or do you ever do that stuff? It's like, it doesn't mean you're smart or dumb. It's probably just you haven't taken the time to do that. You've taken the time to do other things.
Sure.
I just always think that stuff is so stupid. Like, I don't know. You're not dumb. You just don't know these things, and you know other things that what you consider a smart person is going to know. It's just such a stupid argument.
Do you have any insecurities like that? Not that mine are necessarily insecurities, but things like that.
Mine used to be the like, kind of like the classic male ones of like strong or athletic and capable and that sort of thing. And I think as I get older, it becomes more of like, I want to know what's going on. So when I don't know what's going on with stuff, that's maybe more of the insecurity, or just like, oh, I can't really contribute to this conversation, or these thoughts are like, I don't know anything about this stuff. So I don't know. I think in general it's that, like, if I'm faced with like, oh, I don't know anything about this topic that people are talking about, or I haven't heard, of these people and talking about these things, like I'm kind of like, maybe I should know that stuff, but I don't know. I think I've gotten pretty good at not compensating for that and trying to act like I know what they're talking about or what's going on, or I don't know. Like, yeah, I think it just, as I get older, I don't care about it as much.
Yeah. That's something too that it's just like, the things that I am interested in, am I continuing to educate myself and learn more about? Or do I even have the skills to learn? Do I have the skills to learn? It's like, I have the skills to learn.
Yeah.
I don't maybe know the information right off the bat, or a lot of it's not common sense to me. Or it's like when we were doing the personal training stuff, that information is going to come to you a lot easier than it might be for me. You are going to be able to pass the test. I didn't pass the test on the first time, but I know how to set up a system for me to succeed. And that can be replicated in any avenue.
Yeah.
That I think for the world that we have created, and also the people that we surround ourselves with, it's like, that's fine. There's been times where I'm around different groups of people that are much more intelligent than the average people that we're around. I'm like, oh, I could not, like, I'm not around people like you. Like, this is a different level. And some of my skills would not measure up even in this scenario. Because, like, I don't know how to hold a conversation because I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know how to ask questions. I wouldn't know even what route. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe you're not my kind of person. Like, I can't talk to you, but
and I think
I'm sure you probably can't talk to a lot of people.
That's where it is. It's more about compatibility than it is they're smarter or whatever. Okay, they know this sector of life, but they can only talk about that stuff. They can't have a conversation about the general things that most people can have conversations about. That's right. Again, it's like, it's so categorized, and okay, sure, how, I don't know, quantum mechanics or whatever. I don't even know what the hell that is and what that means, but you can't have a conversation about
what most people are experiencing in their life.
Yeah. So it's like, that's just a different type of intelligence. And I think, again, compatibility. It's like, okay, so you guys shouldn't be talking to each other.
Right.
If you can't find something to communicate about or enjoy a conversation over. And I don't know. I'd rather be able to kind of talk to anybody and have conversations than just like know a bunch of stuff and not be able to talk to people.
Or majority of people. It's like, we were just back home for a family wedding. I bet majority of the people in that room, I could have found a conversation with.
Yeah.
That's going to be the people I'm around.
Yeah, and that's who you should be around. That's who's you guys are going to have the most enjoyment.
Yeah.
Versus like, I don't know, somebody that can't have a conversation because they only know about science, really sciencey stuff. Well, and again, like what we've had to learn doing this podcast too, and just like conversations with people in general about health and fitness. You can have all of the information, but if you don't know how to get it across in a digestible way, it doesn't matter how much you know.
Yep.
And that's where like we like certain podcasts and certain health ones, but then some of them they go over our head a lot of the time. Because like, well, it's not as, we've noticed that even just with us reading a little bit more, just the way people write is
what you
can like your style of, digesting information and reading and getting the story or getting whatever's being told versus something else where it's like, I have to read this sentence 14 times because I still don't know what they're even saying.
Which, isn't that funny? Like, just because you know words, it's like you think about back in school when you would have levels. Like, you're in the B level, you're in the red level, you're in the green group of whatever reading. When I read those books, I'm like, oh, this is a level color up than what I can handle.
This is
like,
classic blue level. I'm not there.
it up. I'm not there yet. Like, yeah, I can read the words, but if every other word I don't know what it means, I'm not ready for this yet.
Well, and I think look at the most popular books or forms of entertainment and whatever. It's the stuff that majority of people can digest and majority of people can understand.
That is so spot on. Like, the information thing. Like, I guess maybe that is another, I don't know, a skill that, you know, it's like if you were teaching kids, and a lot of parents talk about, like, what would I care about more? I think you hear more nowadays that they would care more about just how are they as a person versus how good of grades they're getting and how intelligent they are and how, like, academically advanced they can be within the peers around them. But then you also see those kids, like, they are so awkward. They have no friends because they can't hold a conversation that's digestible enough to the people around them.
Well, I think people say that they want their kids to be that way, but they're not. Their actions aren't doing that. They're saying they want them to be a good person and to do this and do that. But
well, sure.
What they're pushing them to do is to be the smartest third grader and be top of the class and be the most this and be the best of that. Like, okay, cool. You can have all the lip service of, I just want them to be nice and hardworking, but really what you're on their ass about all of their grades and being the smartest and, well, why is this person getting this and you're not getting this? And it's a bunch of lip service a lot of the time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's becoming more and more of a rule for me, and what I would like to pass on to kids is just the whole concept of you have to be flexible. Like, I think we are so stuck in, this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table, you better like it or leave, versus, no, just be agreeable and be easy to be around and be, like, you don't need to, I don't know, like, I think we're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what are the words I'm looking for?
Well, I think there's a very big selfishness issue. We've promoted the dog eat dog world rather than the community and helping each other out. And I mean, the things you just said, being nice and being agreeable and being somebody who's pleasant to be around. I mean, we talk about, it's all about who you know, which there's a ton of truth to that. So I think with that also comes, well, you know, these people, do they like you? Because they're not going to give you these extra opportunities if you're not a likable person. Mm-hmm. And it's become this, like, how do I get to the top and tear everybody else down? Well, the way to get there by tearing everybody else down, because everybody wants to get to where they're trying to go as quick as possible, rather than doing it with integrity and doing it in a somewhat prideful way. And, like, I don't know, having something good to say. Like, there's nothing, they say it's lonely at the top. Well, it's only lonely at the top because you're an asshole the whole fucking time. Mm-hmm. It's not lonely when you've built a great community and people like you and they think you deserve that position or that you deserve the credit and the opportunities and everything that comes with it. If you're just a dick the whole time, yeah, of course you're going to get there, and then everybody else is going to try to come tear you down. Yeah,
I know. We just heard a story about that with someone with work, but this happens in the dance world all the time with kids. Where it's like, okay, you're hopping from studio to studio. Are you noticing that, yeah, I just always get in fights with the girls in my class? Or no one ever likes me with the girls in my class. Or everybody always has a problem when I'm front and center or whatever. It's like, do you feel you're the common, it goes back to, like, are you the common denominator in all of these situations? Do you go from studio to studio and you pick fights and you end up in arguments with everyone that you're with? Do your teachers end up not liking you? And I think that's also the connection to achievement. It's like,
well, people have the attitude of go get what you want at all costs. It doesn't matter how you get there or whatever. The thing is the object of what you're trying to get. It doesn't matter how you get there. And I think that's such bad advice and it's bullshit. Look at the Last Dance documentary about Michael Jordan. and people have said this numerous times, if there was social media and when Michael Jordan was going through, like, I don't think we would regard him as the greatest basketball player of all time because of how big of an asshole he was. Like, people wouldn't give him that praise or give him that that status probably because of his attitude. It's like nobody wants to be around him and play around him. That's what's cool about all the stuff coming up now that Tom Brady's retired. Everybody that was in that organization is like, I was the 6th round draft pick and he came up to me and like introduced himself and knew my name.
Yep.
And was like super nice to me right away and like, you know, come be a part of this. We're excited to have you, all that kind of stuff. Now he was an ultimate competitor. So when he's out on the field, it's like, do your job and do it right. But he was nice. And I'm sure there's players that he wasn't nice to. That's just going to happen. But like, you hear all the stuff about Michael Jordan. It's like, he was a dick to everybody. It was only about being the best. And it was never about the team and community. And it was about winning championships and being the best player ever. To where, I wonder if the social media was around, I don't know if we would be like, he is the greatest basketball player ever. Because I think the stigma around him would be so negative that people wouldn't give him the credit and the praise. I mean, especially when you have like, there's other players that have more NBA titles than him. There's other players that have more MVPs than him. He's not the number one on the scoring list. He's not the number one on the assist list. Like, he doesn't hold all of the records everywhere. So I think there'd be more of a conversation about it, but it was just such a moment in time where you didn't have this stuff going on and he dominated and also won all the time. But it's like, now that he's done with that, once you're not the best at the thing anymore and you're not playing or you're not doing the thing, like, again, people don't care so much what you did. It's how are you as a person now? And everybody's like, he's an asshole. So it's like, was it all worth it to be now known as the asshole and the practice behavior that you had the whole time? Like, is that fulfilling? I mean, he's got $1 billion company regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. Is all of that worth it when nobody wants to be around you?
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, and I think that's where I'm saying it connects to the achievements is if that was, you know, a different world where it wasn't just based off of talent. It's like he might not have gotten some of those opportunities because of it. Like, I've seen this in my world with work. It's like we've had very, very talented kids come in, and they are not the ones that get to stay if they are not kind and they are not good to be around and they are not a good representation of what the business is. Even in class, it's like I told them that in the middle of class, I choose who goes where in the dance based off of how you act in class. I don't do it based off of talent because I don't want that to be promoted just as a teacher and in this room. I don't want you to think you can be an asshole or a brat and then you're talented. So, well, okay. And those kids will end up becoming more talented because they're going to be front and center. They are going to get more attention. They are going to be seen more. I'm probably going to give them more of my time because they're reciprocating that as a student. So those kids that were maybe not the talented one in the room, but they are kind and they work hard, they're going to end up surpassing the talented kids.
Yeah.
It's like, I think those things equal achievements a little bit more, where I think you have to tell your kids that. You have to analyze that for yourself of, am I someone that is always the problem with the people? Do I lose out people? Do I let go of people pretty quickly? Do people not want to be around me in work situations? Am I the one that, oh yeah, people seem to always have a problem with me? Or these kids, these kids, everyone always has a problem with you. No matter where you go, no matter what group of kids you're with, they always have a problem with you. You will now probably get less opportunities to achieve.
Yeah. Well,
because people don't want to give you they don't want to give you opportunities.
Yeah. I think that's something that we talk about all the time is, what's the common denominator? Like this same situation has happened 3 times. Well, you're in that all 3 times. So why is this continuing to happen? Like, you're the common denominator. The situations are different each time. So it's you. Like, you're the one that has to figure out whatever's going on. It's not, well, this studio did this, and then this studio did that, and then the third studio is doing this. It's like, well, you're in it in every single one. So it's probably you're the problem, and you need to fix whatever's going on. It's not everything else around you all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem is most people, they're not doing what you're doing. Most people are rewarding just the talent. Who's the best? Who's going to make my thing look the best? Or, you know, they may be the best person for the job because they have the credentials or they have the experience or whatever. And we're only rewarding that a lot of the time. And then, I don't know, things go awry, or the work environment isn't as good, or like the team isn't performing as well, or it's starting to fall apart because you've put the wrong people at the top. It's not, I don't think it's about putting the best person at the top or giving them the most stuff. It's about who's going to handle it the best, but who, like, does everybody rally around? Like,
Yeah.
I think you put the person who has enough experience to do the job, or to be the captain of the team, or the front and center of the dance group, that people want to rally around, and they want to work hard for, and they want to be around, they want to see them succeed. If you put just the talented person up in front, like, and they're not nice and they're mean or whatever, and sometimes you get the diamond in the rough of, like, they have the most talent and people want to rally around them, and then it's great. But that doesn't happen a lot of the time. To where now the whole team, they can't rally around this person that they don't like. They don't want to perform better for that. And most of the time they go like, well, they got front center again. Like, and they're rude about it, and they're mean about it, or they're just not nice and not friendly and whatever. Like, people don't want to work for that person. They don't want to work with that person. And now the whole team suffers because you put the best person that doesn't really deserve it. They deserve it with the talent, but they don't deserve it in any other category. And people are only looking at the talent category. It's like, that's not how to create a successful thing. And you look at the culture in society now, it's like everybody's pretty unhappy with where things at. Well, it's because we continue to praise just talent and not, I mean, look at all these stupid reality TV shows. It's like, it's just all about getting attention and being the best at whatever that is. It's like, but that's not positive. That's not moving things forward in a nice, productive fashion. It's like, I would rather progress slower but more stable and more enjoyment than, you know, give the best person the ball every single time and see if they can do it. That's not, we're a society. That means a lot of people. It's not one person doing all the stuff. We need everybody.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that I was told a lot growing up with dance, at least when it turned into more of the thinking about it from a business perspective, is we were always told, like, you have to be a full package. You can't just bring one element to the table, because what job, especially in that world, but any job, what job can you just be good at one thing? Almost none.
Yeah.
It's like, you think of, I guess, a nurse or like medical. It's like, your main thing is to know a lot of knowledge, or to have a lot of knowledge on this thing. But again, if you can't deliver, if you can't be able to explain that to a patient, if you can't be a kind person to be around, if you can't be able to be diverse with how you communicate to people, that job is going to be very difficult. That's like, that, you wouldn't think that job would be, or anything in the medical field would be, oh, you have to have a good personality. Like, but you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
And I guess for my jobs or lines of work, which is so the opposite of everything on that side, yeah, I need to have the talent to maybe get me in the door. But most of the jobs that I have, or that I have had to take the assistants at our convention, like, yeah, you have to be talented, but 50 plus or more % of your job is, how can you be kind to people? How can you execute understanding directions and understanding what people like and what they don't like? It's like, yeah, you can be super talented, but if you don't know how to be capable around people, the talent only goes so far. Like that's a tiny % of your job.
Yeah. I think people just overlook what it does to the rest of your team, whether that's work or sports or athletics or whatever it is. Even if that person is the best at what they do and they should be front and center and whatever, I don't think people recognize what it's doing to the rest of the team. The rest of the team is not performing as best as they could because you're putting this person in a position of power all the time, and they don't know how to get other people to rally around them and do a good job. It's like you can have the best player in all of football, but you could have the best team, but if you're not all rallied around each other and working together and performing as a unit, it's not going to matter. We see this literally all the time in sports. They call them super teams. These teams will try to go buy their team by just getting the best players possible, and they don't tend to do well because they can't work together as a team, and they can't get other people to rally around them to do a good job. So it's not always just putting the talent at the top and having them run stuff or having them be front and center, because you have to look at how is this going to affect the rest of the group. It's one thing that Belichick and Tom Brady talk about, of like, they had conversations of, I need to be able to, like, Belichick needs to be able to get on Brady's ass in team meetings and on the field and whatever to show the rest of the group, hey, I'm even correcting and yelling at our leader, our top person.
Yeah. To show you I am the true leader.
Well, right. But
and that, like, everybody
but
on
then
the same playing field.
Gets everybody to be on the same playing field to go like, well, if Brady's getting yelled at, like, everything's even.
Yeah.
And everything's fine. If he was getting special treatment and, oh, you're the talent, like, you're up front, you can do whatever you want, no questions asked, everybody else can be like, well, like, why? This kind of is stupid. He gets special treatment and I don't. It's why kids always do that. Well, why did she get to do this and I don't? It's like, you have to have an answer for that.
Yeah.
And it better be a good answer. Otherwise, and even then, it's sometimes, I'm sure a lot of the times, it's like, well, I don't really care what the answer is. Why do they get to do something that I can't do? Or why are they not getting yelled at for something that they did when I do the same thing and I get yelled at? Doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, and that's where, like, creating a full spectrum thinking. I mean, that literally happened to me a couple weeks ago with one of my students. We're learning their competition dance, and there was a part that I put them into groups, and one group was just learning a little bit more intricate or difficult choreography, and they were front and center. And she came up to me and said, why am I not in that group? Like, I should be in that group. It's like, well, perfect example of, you're someone that, yeah, you have the talent to be in that group, but you're mean. You're mean to the girls in the class. So I'm not going to put you in that group. I don't care how talented you are. Like, those girls are talented and nice, and they support each other, and they're going to be not brats about getting to be in that special part. They're not going to make the other kids feel bad about that.
Right.
So I can't trust that you're not going to do all that. So,
yeah.
And of course, she says, I was mean for saying that. It's like, well, you have to learn that it's not all just about that.
Yeah. It's about the togetherness.
Yeah.
It's about everybody being a part of something and being happy for other people's success and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's.
And again, though, that will come with more achievements, I think. Like my boys' class, there is a large discrepancy of talent, mostly just because the older ones, they have been in it for longer. They take extra classes. They really like soak up the learning, and they do a lot on their own time as well. It's like, it is beginner to intermediate advanced, and also there's an age thing that just tends to that as well. That the better kids in the class, they know they're better, but their way of dealing with that is support and lift. I'm going to go to all the kids in the class that struggle with this thing that I'm already good at, and I'm going to help them. Now, the whole group is getting better, which makes them be able to do harder stuff because me as the teacher, now I don't have to hold back the curriculum for the younger ones. They're leveling up. So now the whole group gets to do more and better things.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's when you're even you're an adult and you're an individual now and you're not teaching people or coaching people or whatever. It's just you. It's just, there's the integrity part of it. And I think there's the quality of life part of it for yourself. That's like, it's better to have people like you and you are in control of that. Like you have the ability to be nice and be kind and help other people and not be selfish and not play this dog-eat-dog world game where you're just trying to destroy everybody to get to the top. Like, it just doesn't, there's not a lot of things, if anything, that I think ends up working well in that situation. Because you could make the most money or you could be recognized as the best, but again, that all comes with a cost. And do you want to pay that cost? And I just don't think when people actually get into those situations, they are happy with the decisions that they made. And I think it makes the rest of society worse. I mean, everybody bitches about society. Everybody does. And it's like, well, we're all a part of it. And are you making the decisions to be more selfish and only try to take and get what you need out of it or what you want out of it? Or are you trying to build something that everybody can be happy and proud of and excited for and have a good time? It's like, it's kind of a simple concept, but we, for some reason, have been, well, I mean, it's promoted. It's like, it's promoted to be selfish and to only be about you and only care about yourself. It's just, that's just what it is. And most people are unhappy with where we're at. So you can do something about that. Don't be selfish and don't be rude and don't be all about yourself and trying to be the best or try to be the type of thing. You can try to be the best and also nice. It's really not that difficult.
I know.
It's really not that hard.
It's just like I think it's harder for people for some reason to, I don't know. And of course, in the beginning of the podcast, I'm like, yeah, I have a sliver of confidence and I think I work better on this. So maybe people would see that as bragging because I said I had 2% confidence. But it's like the being humble about your talents and knowing what you bring to the table, but not having to shove it into people's faces.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think we're more and more now, everybody has this idea of like, I need to have a brand. And my brand is like, everybody's a salesperson for themselves. I mean, it's like the whole job interview thing and just like how we're presenting ourselves all the time. We're always trying to get something for ourselves. And I just don't, I think that because that is promoted and continuously pushed forward and we see it more and more and more of that's the way that everybody is going. And then everybody's annoyed and unhappy with how that's our world. It's like, well, then do something different. It's the person that, well, they didn't push their grocery cart back, so I'm not going to push mine back. It's like, okay, well.
That is a faulty society.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, cool. That, it used to be like, that guy's an asshole, stay away from that person and push your cart back.
Yep.
But now it's like, well, they're doing it, so I'm going to do it. Are you 6 years old? Like,
right.
I don't understand this 30s, 40s, and 50-year-olds that are acting like 6-year-olds, and they don't.
I mean, they don't
realize it.
On the flight, the person in front of us, there was 3 seats, and it was a husband on the window seat and a wife on the aisle seat, and there was someone that's going to be coming to sit in the middle. And when that lady showed up, the lady on the aisle seat just said, "I'm going to move so I can sit by my husband." And the lady like maybe just didn't comprehend that as quickly, and she was like, "Oh no, that's my seat." And she's like, "Oh, I guess, okay, yeah, that's fine." And then sat down. And the way that lady even said like, "That's my seat," was a little snippy. So then the wife that moved, when they sat down, she turns to the lady that moved her seat and in a very bratty tone just said, "Sorry, can I sit next to my husband?" And like said it in a just a snarky way. And the lady was like, yes. And then whatever. Lady comes, the flight attendant comes by to give the whole procedure of the exit roll because they were in the exit roll. Well, then that husband, anytime, you know how like they have to give
consent
that they're able to handle it or whatever. The flight attendant was saying like the whole spiel. Between the whole spiel, the husband was just like, yes, yes, yes. Like just trying to cut her off and just be a brat about it. Flight's taking off. The lady that moved, she said, I would have been fine with switching the seats. It's just the fact that you didn't ask me. Like, I paid for that specific seat. Maybe there's a reason. But whatever. She said, I would have been fine if you'd have just asked me. And the lady just get over it. Get over it. And kept saying that to cut her off, too. I'm like, you guys, like, both of these people had full white gray hair. Like, you are...
Yeah, they're in their
in
60s.
your 60s, potentially 70s. You're also a mature woman as well. I feel like I just heard a bunch of kindergartners talk. And like you are not like, I would be terrified to talk to someone like that. I wouldn't even talk to you like that, let alone a stranger. Like, we're too okay with just, I want to do this. I want to say this. That person did this. So now I'm okay. Like, that person was a brat to me, so I could be a brat to them.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Eye
what
for
happened
an
to
eye.
me being the bigger person and not having to go, well, I'm just sick of being the bigger person. It's like, well,
Yeah.
that's how our society gets the way it is, because then everybody just starts giving up and being lazy and giving up and being lazy.
If you're sick of being the bigger person, then I don't want to hear you complain about anything ever, because you're not trying to be a part of the solution. You're a part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like we are adults or elders or people just that are, you're supposed to continue to get more and more mature as you grow up. That's just how life is supposed to happen, and it's constructed. And we have somehow hijacked that and made 60-year-olds 5-year-olds.
Yeah, we're supposed to respect
crazy.
our elders.
That,
you think I'm going to respect that guy and that lady?
That same situation is what our 5, 6, 7-year-old nieces do.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing.
And even at their age, we're like, okay.
Yeah. Like,
let's stop doing that.
Let's not do that. Let's not talk like that. Let's figure this out in a more mature manner. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, how do you... I don't know. Like, you know what? I think there was something nice about what it used to be, of like, yeah, the world isn't fair. You deal with it, and then you still try to be a good person and nice and respectful and whatever. Because like, that's almost like that is the least that you can do. Is we're all in the same unfair game and it sucks. The least I can do is go, you're playing the same game, so let me just make this easier for you and you make it easier for me.
But now we think we're playing separate games if we have our unique problems that are worse than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, way back in the day, you had tribes. There wasn't just, well, I can treat the people around me however I want, and if they leave, that's fine. There's more people around. Like, no, these were the only people you had.
Yeah, and you got kicked out.
Yeah, if you were a problem, you're getting kicked out. You're getting...
probably killed.
You know, yeah. It's like, no, you can't just be different, unique, or try to test the boundaries. You'll be put back in your place.
Yeah. 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 And now it's just... it is. People think that, like, everybody, they're entitled. Like, we want to talk about how the younger generation's entitled. I mean, I see more entitled 50 and 60-year-olds than I do... maybe not more, but I see just as many.
Yeah.
It's like it's even across the board. It's ridiculous. It's like you're older than I am, and you can't like be somewhat respectable. Like
right.
What that guy was doing to the flight attendant. Like yes, like move on, stop bothering me. It's like.
And of course, I'm like, that guy's not going to save anybody.
And that's what
get him out of that
seat.
There
was that small part of me that was like, I hope this fucking plane goes down and this guy has to do something about it. Like, I hope we have to land in the ocean, because I'm going to be the person that gets out and does the stuff, and it's not going to be him.
I know.
Because he's a child and doesn't know what to do and is freaking out.
Well, and like the start of that with the lady, it's like, sure, you want to sit next to your husband. Who gives a shit? Pick that seat. Pay for that seat. Even if it was taken, okay. Well, now you're in a predicament. That lady is not in a predicament. So you have to ask.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. You're also choosing to be in a middle seat. Probably not that big of a deal. But you're just assuming that you are entitled to that seat because it's next to your husband.
And then you're going to be a jerk about it.
Right.
Like,
it's like, no, you fucked up. You didn't ask.
Yeah.
You just started moving over and assumed.
My dad used to say that a lack of preparation on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine.
Yep.
That's like, you didn't pick that seat, so I don't have to do anything about it. This is not my issue.
Yeah.
This is not my problem.
I think the people need to have more fear, which I don't know how they don't. And nowadays, when
I'll
you can
start just punching people.
when you can see how people respond to things, because when that guy kept doing that, I so badly, like, my instinct is to say, like, man, like, I hope nothing happens, because that's the guy that's going to be help save the day. Like, I want to put him down. I want him to notice that. I want him to hear that. But I would be more scared of that guy flipping out. It's like, or people like driving and honking at people and flipping people off. It's like, you will never see me do any of that, because all I'm thinking is that person could pull me over and pull a gun out, and that's it. Because I had to show them that I was angry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what's tricky.
People need to be more scared of people.
Well, and like, how do you approach that without doing the same thing that they're doing? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be the person that's also being entitled and being bitchy. Just because you're maybe defending the flight attendant doesn't mean that you get to be an asshole now.
Right.
Just because you think you're morally right doesn't mean that you get to be a jerk about it.
All I did was I just locked eyes with that flight attendant, and everything that she was, I will watch your whole presentation.
Yeah.
I'm not in the extra row, but I'll stare at you and watch you when you're doing the whole seatbelt thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll watch you. I'll give you my attention. Like, I will be the example that I think that guy should have been.
Yeah.
I'll double down. I will go crazier with, like, nodding and, like.
That's my problem, is like, my instinct is to be mean to him.
Oh yeah, I want his, yeah.
Is to be like, will you stop being an asshole?
But then it's like, now you're just adding.
Yeah.
That guy's not going to do anything. He's not going to change.
No, he might not. But it's also like, I don't want to also be a jerk. And I don't want to cause even more, like, that makes the situation with the flight attendant probably even worse, because now there's even more disruption going on in the plane. And
you just got to do what my dad does.
No, not the passive aggressive.
So that everybody else at least around knows, oh yeah, that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully the guy sees it.
Yeah. No, I just tripped him on the way out. And, oh, sorry. Yeah, that was frustrating. Well, that's probably it, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
See you next time.
See ya.